6 o'clock. I got 6 o'clock. Miss Black, would you call roll, please?
Barnes.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Dent. Diorio.
Here.
Estes.
Here.
Hastings.
Here.
Murphy. Pickett.
Here.
Wilkes.
Here.
We got reading, correction, and disposition of minutes.
Move we dispense with the reading and accept them as presented. Second.
JP Estes made the motion. JP Barnes made the second.
Barnes.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Diorio.
Yes.
Estes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Pickett.
Yeah.
Wilkes.
Yes.
Miss Wanda, you got anything to share with us this evening?
I mailed out my report. If they have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Everything's holding. Nothing exceptionally exciting. Everything's holding.
If we don't have any questions of Miss Wanda, county and circuit clerk's report, Miss Black. She's here if you have any questions. We got the county collector's report. I know Mr. Michelle's here, and if you got any questions, she can answer.
Everything's been going good in my office. I'm getting ready to do our certification next week, so there's about 800 parcels will be certified back to the state.
How many?
About 800. Last year, we only certified 570. That's because Cherokee Village had done, I don't remember if that was a foreclosure year or they paid up a bunch of stuff, but they're not gonna pay anything this year, so it's about 870.
County Sheriff's report. Shane's here if anybody's got any questions of Sheriff Russell.
Got a report if you want to hear it.
Yes, sir.
NCIC phone was brought in $2,687.55. The video visitation brought in $130.20. The messaging brought in $639.93. Total check from NCIC was $3,457.68. The nicotine, Ms. Delario, Brianna.
Seriously?
I can't talk like
That
that.
was
You're not
great.
the only one I've
That
done
was
that.
great. I commend you.
Was $2,454.58. We've also started charging for doctor's visits and for medicines that we had normally been paying for that we had been making them reimbursed for. This was our first month. We brought in nearly $900 on doing that, $864 and some change, I believe. The total ADC housing was $27,080. The $32,000, which is a total of $32,992.26. That counts everything that I just give you except for the med reimbursement. This past Friday, the doctor was here for the first time, actually made his first visit. We have had his nurse practitioner come in prior to him, but the doctor's first visit was this past Friday. Everything's going good there. It seems like we're running a lot smoother. Things are a lot better, just a lot more even keel when it comes to the physician and from that. Dispatch is running, Alicia's doing really good. As far as the way dispatch is run, it's running good. The jail is running good. We're starting to pick up some things there and make a few changes. Thanks to Bart, we're starting to things are starting to work a little better there. Anyway, any questions? Be more than happy to answer.
I just have one. Who pays for the medicines then? If you say getting reimbursed,
Well,
how does that work?
usually we try to get them on. Judge, you may have to help me here, but usually the Medicaid or Medicare, and if they don't, then sometimes we would have to pick it up just because nobody else will pay for it.
Okay.
But we have now started charging them and their commissary for that. Also, they pay, if they want to see the doctor, it's not just one of those things that I feel bad, get the doctor in here. They're going to pay $15 every time they see the doctor.
Okay.
Out of their own pocket.
Out of their own pocket.
Is that his total charge?
Pardon?
Is that his total charge?
That is a reimbursement for you for getting him up here and offsetting the cost of what we spend every month, to have him on contract. Does that make sense?
Yep, I got it.
I see right now, you're making, I don't wanna go over there anyway.
It shouldn't be up to our county people to come in here and have to pay for something that somebody's done something wrong.
Right.
At no expense to our county if we can help. Yes.
Do we still have pay for stay, or
Yes, sir. And we.
is that included in that?
No, this is not. That's only for sentenced people that is here, if I'm saying that correctly. That's for people that's already been sentenced and they're here, they're paying to stay.
They pay, oh, when they get out, kinda like checking out of a hotel?
They are, they have to pay that, and we will be going forward with trying to get, if they don't pay, we're going to work at different angles and trying to get that set up through the court where they have to pay.
Is that
One way or the other.
$25 a day or what is it?
$35.
$35.
I'm sorry if I'm not real clear on some of those answers, because I haven't been
Great,
answering.
well, that's all right.
You done good.
Yeah, you did.
Tommy, you can find the pay to stay, the amounts
Okay.
in my report.
Okay,
It shows the, under bill operations and maintenance,
all right.
the top of the page above 911. It tells, these are May's numbers.
Under old and unfinished business, we have the Osborne property that we was talking about, and we've tabled it. Miss Hazel, real quick, hadn't been able to get a key to the house yet, is that correct, to
They're on
looking?
vacation.
They're on
He
vacation.
just got back right at the beginning of the month, and so it was just a conversation I just had with him yet.
Okay, so as soon as she can get a key, I'll get word out to everybody where we can look at it. Under new,
Put that on the next meeting as well?
yes ma'am, I'm sorry, yes ma'am, that is correct. Under new business, we have appropriation, for a jail service dog. I'm gonna let Shane explain what they've been working on here. And what we need tonight is just a voice vote, to allow us to go through, but I'll let him explain first what's going on.
We have a dog that's been donated to the jail for a service dog. This service dog will, what are they,
Well, it's used for a lot of different things. This would be called a facility animal. There are a lot of different things, service dog, I have a service dog, but a facility animal. And it really helps, and Strutter is his name, you might have seen it on Facebook too. But when prisoners come in, the ones that are really acting up, they'll see the dog and it changes their whole demeanor. It's to help with that, and then just like I went down there the other day, I don't think I even told you this, we've got some ISO cells, or isolation cells right there at the front. One of the inmates who'd been acting up, he was throwing the ball through the little slot there, back and forth, and it really calmed him down. So they're used all over the country, and it's a really good program.
with that being said, we have the dog donated to us. The people in West Plains will take the dog. It takes 2 sessions of $3,000 per session. But I've had, at some point in time, these people have dealt with us, local law enforcement, and appreciated us, and they have knocked 20% off that bill. So the first session is whatever it be. We've got $2,300 that we've raised for this dog, for training for this dog, and we are asking that money be appropriated and let us spend that for this training for the first session of this dog. And that is 2 sessions. You have to send them for 30 days. They'll keep the dog for 30 days, and then when we get the money, we'll send it back for the other session.
If I followed you, you're wanting $2,500,
I believe it's 2,300.
2,300.
He's collected 2,300.
Yes.
They've turned 2,300 over to me, and they're wanting permission from y'all to use that 2,300 to pay to take the dog. Legislative audit says, even though it's a donation, it's given for the purpose of training the therapy dog, they can't use it until the quorum court says, yes, you can use it.
Okay, so you just want us to appropriate donated money?
Yes, please.
And me
So
and
moved.
Lisa can't have anything with it until y'all.
And if we could,
But yes.
after discussion, if we could just have a voice vote on it tonight, and they'll do it in the cleanup budget at the end of the year.
We failed, didn't we?
Anybody have any questions? Sorry.
Well, I wanna know exactly what y'all,
We want a voice vote.
well, yeah, I got that.
Allowing him to spend the
So
money that he's already
We have jail service
raised.
dog
Yeah.
appropriation, $2,300 collected by donation used for training.
The first
therapy
session.
dog. Therapy dog.
Deputy third.
What you said?
Yeah, yes, ma'am, that is correct, Ms. Black.
Therapy dog, there we go.
That's Shane.
Okay, I got it.
Does anybody have any questions or want to discuss? I'm sorry.
No.
I don't want to get off track with Ms. Black. You care to
Voice
call?
vote?
Voice vote.
Is that- Well, do we have to have a motion on that? I can't, there's no vote.
Don't have to have a motion for a voice vote.
Sorry.
All right,
Does anybody make a motion?
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against?
Yep.
You say yes?
So did twice.
Both ways.
I've voted 3 times now.
Thank you.
Feel like I'm clerk again.
We got another appropriation we wanted to bring up tonight. One of the things that we've I ran into as sheriff, was not having enough help in the jail. It's running over into Shane's. And you got a few people that are willing to work and work overtime. And we met the other day and was wondering if there was a way that handful of people that will come and work when you need help, if there was a way that we could pay them overtime. So we want to bring that to court tonight, and I want to know, you want to add anything to it?
It's, we're like robbing Peter to pay Paul, because we're having to call in part-time help because we can't keep full-time help. So the ones that do work are working in, their comp time or overtime starts at 171 hours. That is on a 28-day pay scale. Some of them are working 200 to 210 hours a month, and they're getting this comp time. At some point, we're either gonna have to pay them, or we're gonna have to pay part-time help to come in so they can take off their comp time, and they still got vacation and holiday that they can take off. I'm not against that at all. I'm all for the employees. That is top of my list. But at some point, I've got to figure out to keep from doing this. If we can pay them some overtime, that would save on the comp time, from having to call in part-time help if we got it to work these shifts. If not, I'm gonna have to start pulling deputies off the road to work back here in the jail. It's just that it's a struggle, and I'm not complaining, but it is. It's a struggle. It's a struggle over here in dispatch. We're the lowest paid county in the whole state. The lowest. If you turn this upside down, we'd be number 1, but that's not.
Any discussion?
Are you gonna talk about a set amount to start with, or you just gonna, on a blanket amount?
I would suggest a set amount, just so we could keep a reins on it. With that being said, I'm not exactly sure what we should look at. That's my fault. I should have already had that done, but I don't. I can do that, and in July, if we get back together, I can hopefully have some more round figures for you, something better to look at. I should have already had that done, because it is a desperate need, and I failed. But
Ms. Wanda, did y'all look at numbers that day we spoke? Y'all did
He
not.
didn't mention any numbers. And then we talked to Edith one day last week when you were out, and she didn't mention any numbers that day, any solid numbers.
How many employees you got?
36, I believe.
We had to put on overtime?
What?
That works in the jail, we had to put on overtime?
There's 12, I think, that works in the jail. I
You're
believe
talking about-
it's
you're- Right now, you're just talking about jail employees.
yes.
But he's just got 3 or 4 that are willing to come in and work
They'll
over,
come in at the drop of a hat.
and that's the ones he wanted to take care of. There's just a handful.
What's gonna happen is they're gonna be gone for 2 months because they're gonna be drawing their comp time.
Then we're gonna have to find, if we've got a part-time employee, to bring them in to pay them then, and you're not saving a whole bunch. You're saving a little bit part-time help, but Not much.
What do you think, Larry?
I think you ought to go ahead and let him do it, but then come back in July and set a dollar figure, so you kind of have a limit. Have to come back for more approval if it needs to.
I agree.
I agree
Do we
too.
have to come up with some money, I mean, to do that, or can we?
There'll be plenty of money in,
I mean, yeah, it would be an increase in his budget.
in his budget, but there's plenty in
Look
there.
at some of the budgets, some sheriff's departments or jails already have that figured in. I looked at one class 2 today, and they had $15,000 set in there for overtime expenditures.
Yeah.
So it was just for, that's just a random figure that I happened to notice today when I was looking at class 2 salaries.
How many would y'all say you have there that are willing to come to help? 3 or 4 or 5? That's
I know we've probably got 4.
4.
Maybe 5.
okay.
Maybe.
And it'd just be a blessing to take care of them since they're willing to take care of us.
You know, the only thing that I can go back on as far as my experiences was in Highland. I had 52 shifts that need to be covered every year without fail. And then you had roughly 90 days of vacation time and holidays that the 3 full-time employees. I had a $28,000 a year budget to cover all that. I never went over. I know that was there. So 12, 15,000 would probably cover, I would think, and I may be misspoken here, but I think that would cover probably close to a year. There again, you just never know.
You'll know more by July.
I should have some figures for you. I may be bad off. I probably shouldn't even say anything, because it is a revolving door. 12.07 an hour.
That's what we start them at. So do we pay time and a half for overtime? Is that how you work that? I don't know.
Comp time, we don't have any overtime right now.
But what would we pay? Would we do
It'd
that
be
like
time and a
that?
half, it'd be 18 something an hour.
And comp time's figured at time and a half also.
Comp time is, okay, well,
Senior still, you lose it.
Sometimes it's always been a problem, no matter what project it is.
I hate comp time.
You end up having to they come out today to blade the roads when it's snowing, they're gonna charge you for 12 hours. You work 8 that day, but then they take off 12 hours. So then you got vacation and everything else going on. First thing you know, you don't have anybody to work.
If I was a worker, I'd want comp time. I'd store it up, buddy, and I'd get me some off time.
But when it comes to trying, if you're working in a group and one take off, then it doesn't really matter. But when there's one job and one employee that fills that job, and they're gone for a month for overtime, you've got to pay somebody to come in and fill it, because there's no way. We've got 3 works during the day and 3 at night. 3, I think.
Well, it's
Either way,
two
if
at
one
a
of them's
time.
gone, we got to call somebody in.
Well, do we need to set him a figure till July, or just have him to go ahead and,
It won't be devastating if you want to wait to set a figure in July. It
if
won't
this
be.
way you won't have to get behind, you could start it now? You know what I'm talking
Let's
about?
start it now and not do anything past, not trying to catch anybody up or nothing like that. What they've already accumulated in comp time, we'll just go ahead and have them burn that at some point. But from this point on, start paying some overtime, that would be ideal.
Made a motion.
We gotta put in provision on next
I'll get
month's
you some
budget
figures
or on
next
next
month.
meeting. So we can discuss it some more then. Okay.
So y'all was talking, you said get some figures for next month's.
We put it on here to make sure we put it on next month's agenda, so that way Shane can get it.
I've got a couple that was going to let him go ahead and start calculating hours this month, so could we go ahead and have well, you're going to want the total. Never mind, we'll have to wait till next month because we won't have total unless, what do you think, Judge Brown? I hate to say, yes, go ahead, and then he come, and I know he's not going to, but I mean, he says it's going to take 35,000 and we didn't have
If y'all
35,000.
will wait, we'll
It's up to
wait,
y'all.
We'll get you some figures. It's up to y'all.
I
You're
wanna
gonna pay
wait.
more one way or the other, you know, when you start an hour wait.
If we wait a month, that's a month. We'll lose-
You know, this whole,
we'll lose money.
like, this is a whole new deal, but with the vacation time we have, people have been here several years. First thing you know, you're gonna have a lot of extra people just to cover vacation and sick pay and comp time. And it's a, you got to have somebody man the jail. If he brings part-time people in, they're not gonna have the training that people has over there now.
You want to start it now?
I would.
Let's start it.
Well,
Let's go ahead. Will that be all right, Ms. Black?
I'm just the minute keeper.
Well, how many
Tell
hours
me
you
what
think
you
you're
were
talking
gonna vote
about?
on,
Sean?
and
I mean,
we just
do you
wanna
have
make
an
sure we got it
idea,
worded right in
an
our
average on a
minutes.
month, what you might have for overtime pay?
I want to say 25 to 30.
Oh, that's not much.
25 to 30 hours.
Yes.
So let's just figure 40 hours to be safe.
And in a month? Is that what you said?
And time and a half, $20
I
an hour.
I really need to sit down with Miss Edith.
That's
and,
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
it's 500 or 600 a month roughly, isn't it? If I'm counting right. You said 12,000, so that'd be 6,
540.
12, no, hardly 12,000.
$540.
a month. About $1,000
I'd
a
make a
month.
motion, we allow him to go ahead and start paying overtime in the jail, and then we can appropriate the amount of money that's necessary at the July meeting.
We got a motion made by Judge Brown, or excuse me, J.P. Brown.
I'll second.
Pay
Second.
overtime in the jail.
Yes, ma'am.
For the
With
next 30
Sheriff
days.
Russell coming back and giving you a total amount he figures he needs for the year, next month's meeting. And seconded by J.P. Estes.
The amount in July. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
To appropriate. Brown, or Barnes,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Peoria,
Yes.
Estes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Pickett,
Yes.
Wilkes.
Yes. Diorio.
On to more new business. We got our APR concession fund. Last year, y'all approved $25,000 to upgrade the concession stands out at the fairgrounds. That is correct. And we talked about building a new concession out there. Wish Chuck could have been here, JP Murphy could have been here tonight, because, but anyhow, we talked about building a new concession out there and wanted to see what the will of the court would be. We talked about at one point building a concession that would work not only the rodeo, but the fairgrounds. Is that correct? I'm looking at Bart because we just am I wrong or right on that? Where you'd have one side that'd work this side of the fence and this on the other side?
Yeah, I know that was discussed, and as I worked out there and cooked out there for the last, I don't know, however long I've been at Murphy. But yeah, covering both. It definitely needs an improvement.
Did they get a figure on how much more money we need?
I don't
They have not.
recall, no.
So we're just
They have
gonna,
not,
so we're just gonna have to
Jenny
take,
said she was unaware that they had this $25,000 till 10 days ago or whatever, and they had a meeting, and they would like to demolish the building they have and put up a new building. They're trying to apply for a grant to see if there's anything out there to help them. But I guess I mentioned to her, I didn't know because there's still some monies left that we appropriated for the educational and the pageant building that has not been spent. And I told her, I said, I don't know, it's not my decision, but maybe they could throw that in to the 25, which would give them closer probably to 35, if not more. And, but that would be up to the other committees that they have, if they're, done with their projects. But as of right now, they would just like the 25 to be put towards a new building instead of repairing an old building that needs torn down. And I think the county shop will tear down the old block building for no charge. Is
No
that right?
And then the reason why, is that the building that we keep running afoul with the health department over, or is it another building? Because of where the bathrooms are located? and
Yes, sir.
everything?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Oh,
so it
and-
does need to be torn down and just start over with. I think that was a discussion we had last year, if I remember correctly.
Well, I knew we appropriated money for that.
To repair what they had,
Yeah.
and now they would like to replace.
$25,000, I would replace it.
Could I get somebody tonight to make a motion to allow them to use that on a new building instead of remodeling the old one?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made by J.P. Wilkes and second by J.P. Denorio.
Barnes,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Peoria,
Yes.
Estes,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Pickett,
Yeah.
Wilkes.
Yes.
To finish up our new business, we got Miss Hazel Whited here, want to talk to you tonight about the
Hey,
solar.
Judge, you don't happen to know how much that would be in, that we needed to do, because that probably, our auditors are probably gonna want that amount in there.
25,000. I apologize if I did not. Yes, ma'am. It was 25,000 y'all appropriated last year
Right.
to put in on a remodel, and so,
Okay, all right, thank you.
yes, ma'am. Miss Whited, sorry.
No, that's all right. I'm going to try to fuss with this TV here. So bear with me. But, so today I am representing the Spring River Area Chamber of Commerce. I am the 2023 Vice President. I'm also the Chair of the Solar Eclipse Committee. To give you background on this really quickly, and I'm so sorry. And I'm going to go back to this slide here in just a second. Now, I got fouled up because I forgot to put a 0 here in front of my slide, so I'm going to have to go a little bit back and forth. But to give you some background, so in 2023, we instituted a new president for the board, Fred Holzhauer. He had a bold vision of the Chamber's role in the community. He performed almost 40, or actually over 40, one-on-one conversations with businesses and community leaders that he had discussions about, hey, what is the Chamber doing right? What are we doing wrong? The common theme that came out of that is the Chamber needs to be more proactive in the area of community development. And that is because community development facilitates economic development. And that by doing so, we'll be growing communities. By growing community, we will support and continue to help support the help and sustain economic development efforts. So with that, we started looking at the eclipse because we felt that that was something that we talked about in 2021. You mentioned this at the last meeting, and I had brought in, when I was working for Creek Bridges, we had the lady from Brooke Hoffman from Casper, Wyoming, who helped explain the kinds of things that you could experience from an eclipse. And so, let's go to here. And again, I apologize for having to jump back and forth a little bit on this. So the first thing I did was created a committee, and this is the list of the committee members that are currently on board. You're looking at Amy Fenster from White River Health, Chelsea Conway, our UADA extension agent, Amanda Smith, she is a member of the RDAMP, Christy Brewer, you know her as the owner of Artisans, Joanne Hancock from the Parts Store, Tricia Clem, she's a certified project manager and currently consulting. Mary Boley represents the school as the science lab manager, and I again am the chair of the Eclipse Committee. Why this is important is one of the things I really wanted to make sure was that we were covering industry in the area. And so if you look, the organizational structure, we made sure healthcare, lodging, the AMP Commission, consulting, restaurants. The parts store represents like RV and support services, and of course education. In addition to that, we were starting to look at who our customer base was. Internally, we are looking at the elected officials, the superintendents, store owners, the landowners, and the community members. And externally, we are looking at visitors, tourist councils, the vendors, and merchants. For the JPs, I provided for you a card that we're currently using for our external communication. We also created, and it looks somewhat similar, but I also created one for internal communication. This is for our businesses, this is for our community members, to help them know that there are resources that we are going to start putting out there for them so that they can reach out to us and say, hey, I need to know more about this eclipse. We wanted the citizens to really start to feel the urgency, because I'm telling you, this is less than a year now, and I'm like, it's amazed. I'm thinking back to 2021 during that initial presentation, thinking, I cannot believe we are less than a year into the April 8th, 2024. Now, Judge J.P. Brown, you were kind of smiling, and I wasn't sure if it's because if you were one of those people that thought the eclipse wasn't going to be, just kind of why are you smiling? I'm just curious.
Well, just to be honest, it's kind of hard for me seeing people get that excited over 4 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
Understand. Which you would think, but I will tell you, Horseshoe Bend has already started receiving reservations for them. Heber Springs, for example, got a call from Japan. They reserved 70 spots, RV spots, 70 of them, and they'll be coming about 2 weeks prior to the event because they are that interested. And the thing about Heber is, I think they're actually slightly more away from the line than we are. And why that's important is also a Jonesboro mayor indicated to our mayor, told him that he knows of people that are going to be spending their lodging in Jonesboro and Paragould, but they are coming to Sharp County to watch the eclipse because we get 2 more minutes than they do in Jonesboro. It's a big deal to be on the center line, right? So yes, but I appreciate you sharing with me, because that is the skepticism that I've been hearing, especially as I come away from Hardin and away from Cherokee Village. My concern for this area is Walmart's right here. And how many of us remember, like on a Memorial Day weekend, how busy and crazy it gets on our highway? Right between Pizza Hut, running across the street, going to Walmart, coming up and down towards Mountain Home. Think about that on a 4-day weekend. The eclipse is on Monday. People are starting to come in on Thursday, and they are now, staying at the Airbnb that they rented, because the Airbnbs are doing 3-night minimums with no cancellations, and and paying up front. And so
Here's my problem I'm having with it.
Okay.
I went to Nashville in 2017 to see Total. All the time I was traveling to and from, I was never in a traffic jam.
Okay.
Traffic in and out, smooth, easy. Right there in the heart of Nashville, walked past the Ryman Auditorium, went 2 or 3 blocks down, all those honky tonks, made the whole circle, came back around, and I never saw the first thing rolled in the eclipse.
You never saw what? Sorry?
Anything, not a word about the eclipse.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Zero.
yeah. So when I get that, and so one of the things I'm also going to share is that in October, there is an eclipse in 2023, right? October 2023, October 14, there is what they call an annular eclipse. The annular eclipse has the little ring of fire that goes around, so it's not a complete totality like what we'll experience, but it'll have like a ring around. And it's actually a really cool eclipse. Well, Texas is not doing anything about it. So what I did is I reached out, I looked at where their center line is. It's actually 30 miles, or it's in Corpus Christi. So I found a place that looks just like us, 5,000 people, to the town of Mathis, and they have communities around them that 300 to 500 people. And I booked a room very inexpensively because I wanted to see what kind of traffic they're going to get in October for this eclipse. They're not doing anything about it. And the reason why I feel that's important is because that's 6 months before we have ours. And granted, we could do nothing, but let's say we see 500 people show up. Well, what if we did some marketing efforts and we could have had 1,500 people show up? What will that do to our businesses over that period of time? That's extra revenue. That's extra sales tax for this county. It's extra revenue for our businesses, and we didn't have to do anything to make the eclipse happen, right? So why wouldn't we market it and take advantage of it? And that's one of the things that the chamber has felt is the need that we need to do, is that we need to help facilitate the marketing efforts for this, because I don't want to miss the opportunity of people who wanted to go see the eclipse. Like you, Judge Estes, you went to Tennessee to go look at it. And if we didn't tell them that we were on the center line, then they're not going to come to us. And again, I think about that opportunity for our businesses that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Everyone knows we're on the center line.
No one knows. Not all people.
2/3 of the state is going to be under totality.
Larry, you going to see the eclipse?
Oh, all you gotta do is walk
I might go
outside.
outside and look at the sunset.
So, I guess what the chamber, how we feel about it is we want to make sure that we have given every opportunity for our business to take advantage of this.
Well, I hope you market it and I hope you do well.
So we're gonna continue with the marketing.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
show you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So the vision that we have for the Eclipse Committee is to gather information regarding Eclipse-related festivals and events, and to ensure that it gets up to Ozark Gateway Tourist Council, and then goes up to the state level. So right now, Ozark Gateway, they are like our next tier up. They'll take all the information from us, from Stone County, from Independence County, and they will start advertising all of the things that we have. What we are doing is we are also duplicating that, but just on our level. So then it goes up to Ozark Gateway, and then Ozark Gateway sends it up to Arkansas Tourism. So we now have 3 layers of opportunity for people to be able to find a place to go watch the eclipse, and boy, I think Shark County is a place they need to come and see that.
Hazel, this for the kind of eclipse, you have to wear certain kind of glasses to observe
Yes,
that?
so you have, in order for you to look at the sun until the eclipse, so the totality, once we get to the totality time frame that you see on yours, you can actually take your glasses off for 4 minutes. Because at that point, the sun is completely covered and all you have is like these little radiate, like rings, that, or not even rings, but like radiate that comes off of it, and you can look at that safely. And then once there's like a point that someone had mentioned that you start to see like a quick diamond, then you need to put your glasses back on. But like the annular eclipse in Texas, you cannot look in the sun without the glasses. Ours, we can. This is why it makes it special. So we wanted to make sure we provided awareness and resource information to our community, our businesses and municipalities to help prepare for the 2024 eclipse. We really wanted to make a good effort to promote the 2024 eclipse to attract visitors to the area. And we also wanted to curate retail items so that we can do this in large quantities to help our retailers get some really great merchandise at less expensive prices than they would if they had to try to curate it on their own. So how we're going to do that is, and I'm sorry, I have to make sure I'm on track for the marketing rollout. Okay, this I can do in order. So one of the things that we've done is that at the Chamber Banquet, if you were there, we talked about it. We had a different card at the time that we did this. So we're starting to change up our messaging. We also are doing the Chamber Rotary Golf Tournament. We're going to do a fundraising effort during that time to be able to help facilitate the cost of the things that we're doing. The Sharp County Fair, we are pulling out an ad in the fair book. And the Party A&P Eclipse meetings, I've already been to 2 to really help that community is on board. They have been moving forward. They meet every other month and they are very excited about what's to come for them. They are expecting 3 times, I'm sorry, I believe it's 5 times the number of people that they've had on their busiest event holiday, which I guess happened in the 80s at a canoe race or something. They had 5,000 people. They're expecting 25,000 people-ish during that weekend to come visit them. So they are making preparations for that. I'm very proud of my board. My board gave me almost carte blanche and said, we will give you seed money to start this marketing effort. So they put in $4,000 for me to start this effort. And I cannot tell you how excited I am that my board has done this, because I think that shows a huge commitment to this community to put in $4,000 of our own money to be able to get this started. So one of the things I did is I said I'm going to go ahead and start creating banners. This billboard right here is actually going to go up on the north side of Hardy coming in from Mammoth. And I also have a 5x10 banner that I created that is going in Cave City. Because one of the things I told them is that I'm not focusing on just the 4 northern cities, we're focusing on all of Sharp County. So this Mayor Jonas Anderson is very excited because I'm going to have a banner like this over at his community too. The next thing I did is that this is actually a live website. It is eclipsesharpcounty.com. I will tell you it's a little bit of a static page right now because I have a lot of buildings left to do, but I really wanted to start getting information out there. This counter does work. In fact, I looked at it today and I think it said 300 days left. And I was like, oh my gosh, 300 days left. So the idea here is that there is a front page, and then this one is a visitor page, and then we'll have a community resource page. so that we can continue to provide information to folks and then go out to the website and start garnering all that information that they need. And again, one's curated specifically for the visitors. The other thing, and I mentioned this, we're going to wholesale merchandise to retailers. I've already started working on this. This is actually finals. We're going to create like unique designs for our communities. So we're going to do this one for free for our communities. We also focused in on the Sharp County Regional Airport. We think they're an important asset and we really wanted to showcase them. So we are creating this shirt for them in Cave City. This is one I just finished today. So I'm working on that one for them. And I wanted to share with you, this one is one that we're doing for the Spring River area.
That's gonna be on a t-shirt.
So it's gonna be, so this is the first t-shirt right here. And it does say, you know, got shades, has the date on it. And the really cool thing is that our hope is that we are able to get that price low enough for our retailers to really make, you know, just a good impact of a percentage of money for them, you know, when they do this process. So we are very excited about the graphics that we've been able to put together. So what's next? So we're going to continue to share information. I'll continue to do presentations like this throughout Stark County. We'll have communities and event organizers share their information to us so we can get them populated on the website. We'll continue to also populate the website with internal information regarding meetings, resources, and links. And I'm developing an advertising schedule for outside of the region. So Ozark Gateway, they do co-op if you advertise outside of the area. And what's really neat is I've already spoken to Cave City. Cave City, when for the Watermelon Festival, they actually advertise to Springfield and Louisiana, and those have been the two best areas for them to advertise to and get people to come. So why would I reinvent the wheel? Cave City's already told me, hey, if you advertise in those places, we're going to get people out of there. So my next step is to develop an advertising schedule so that I can get information to those communities and encourage them to come see us for the totality, because they are outside of the totality. So to close, I need this group here especially to start telling people the eclipse is real. It's going to happen. And if nothing less, let me connect you to Hazel, and she'll be able to start helping you, give you information about it. Because there may be those, Judge Brown, I don't really know, do I care? But maybe I just should pay attention. And then there's going to be your other ones who are skeptical or they're scared. Hardy, in one of their meetings, folks were really concerned about how many people are coming, to the point where we had purveyors who said, I think I want to just close my doors that weekend. And we thought, why would you close your doors when this is the best time for you to make some money, you know, and show these visitors who we are and really share with them. So after our meeting, we dispelled some of that fear, and it really just took kind of talking to them about it, experiences from other communities, sharing with them that, you know, Sheriff, it is not the out-of-towners that we worry about. It's the couple of locals that had problems in Casper, Wyoming. And so it's being able to share that information. So with all that being said, I think it's just time to start working together. Just time is ticking. So I'm welcome to entertain any questions.
Do you know how much, excuse me, lodging that we have
So
available in Sharp County? Because I do know some people that have already filled up.
Hardy has, I think, right around 200, something like that. What I do know happening is that you've got a lot of Airbnbs and RV parks that are going up. You're starting to see a lot of them. In fact, my prediction is that we're going to have twice as many RV and Airbnbs, and then add another like the third 300%, the 300% I keep thinking of is going to be like your dry campers, because we have a lot of landowners who are starting to like mark out their areas. There's a website called HipCamp that you can advertise your site on, and it has insurance and all this stuff, and it gives you suggestions of what to do. And they have been looking at mapping out an area on their land and dry camping facilities for people. So
This is one lifetime experience, isn't it?
it is. The next one in the United States is not, we won't see it in North America again, I think until 2043 or something like that.
I'll be 38 then.
So, to answer your question, JP Barnes, it is my guess, all in all, we're gonna be looking at around 500-ish total lodging. But here's the thing. So the other effort that I'm doing is working with other communities. And so we are starting to hear of festivals probably being put together starting as early as Thursday. Because we're asking them to come early and stay late. We want them to leave not until Tuesday because we don't want the traffic as they leave out, after the eclipse. And so you'll have festivals going on during this period of time. Well, one of the things that we've talked about is I would love to be able to reach out to Stone County, for example, and say, hey, if you guys don't have anything going on like on Saturday, send them our way because we have festivals going on, and start swapping and trading within with a bigger region so that folks will stay in and they have plenty of things to do. It's only an hour's drive to Mountain View, right? So they can come and they can send us their people and we might be able to send them theirs, but then they'll spend Monday with us to watch the totality. So I really think the really neat opportunity we have here is to look at not only countywide, but to also see like what our neighbors are doing and leverage what they're doing so that we can keep these 550 people that are staying with us busy, but that we can get the several thousand more that are just traveling through and want to enjoy the Ozarks and figure out what's going on, and they'll come visit us as well. 70% of the people that went to Casper, Wyoming, they've never been there before, have said that they were going to visit them again. And we want that here, right? We want all these visitors to come back and visit us.
Any more questions? I know we gotta get through.
What, you kind of went over, it. What is so special about this eclipse? I mean, this particular woman? You said it's a once in a lifetime, pretty much?
Mm-hmm. So what happens is like the moon covers, right, and the angle of the earth to the moon covering the sun. Well, the swath of the totality is only about 100 miles wide. So that's why only 2/3 of the state are actually getting the...
That's where we are, right?
That's where we are on that 2/3. It goes north from us, so it comes out of Texas, and it comes through like Arkadelphia and all that comes to us, and then it goes up to Philadelphia and up in that area. And again, it's about only 100 miles wide, and usually it happens over the ocean. It surely does not happen. I mean, it's very rare that it happens. We've had several, like just a couple now in the last decade to hit North America, but that's unusual. And so again, the 2043 is the next time we will see it, and we won't see it in Arkansas. It'll be some other part of North America.
One more thing. The lady that was here, 2 years ago, I guess now?
Yes.
What was she basing her information on, that we're just going to be swamped? We're not going to be able to handle it. We need to, and that's what you're doing. You're getting us prepared.
Yes.
I understand it. But is it just what it is? I mean, that we're going to have so many people come through here?
They was not prepared, and they was overrun. It was more of a problem for the simple reason it stripped the grocery stores, it stripped the mini marts. The restaurants didn't have any food to serve, so your local people ended up hurting because of this, because of so many people come in. And whenever that happened, we had a meeting in Highland where they come to the city council meeting there, and I can't remember what all, but that was the big thing, was there was so many people come in, flogged within about a 3-day. It ramped up for about a week, and then for about 3 days there, it was, they basically stripped the stores. I don't know that they had any real problems with the people that come in, but you don't also know what may be coming with them. But the grocery stores were stripped, the mini marts were stripped, everybody was in kind of dire need for a few days, the local people.
Traffic was bad.
Yeah. So if I'm making a bet, which I'm not, I can almost say 80 or 90% that these things are going to happen.
Some of these. So we're trying to mitigate. So we may get the traffic, right? So there's been some conversation. It's going to be 3 to 5 times our population. I don't know if I really believe seeing 50,000 people here.
Yeah.
But I guess the way I look at it is, one is, even if we only got 10,000 people, think about the tax base of what 10,000 people could mean. But also think about what that means when that's more than what some of our retailers have seen on a busy weekend. And so one of the things that we're also doing is, and Hardy AP has also engaged in this, is that we're starting to get restaurants connected together. We're starting to get the parts store engaged on like how much RV parts they might need. So that, and also starting to have like a resource menu, for example, of saying, if you run out of cups, you go call Artisans and see if they've got extra because they booked up some more. And so it's an opportunity to give people that chance of saying, hey, if I run out of something, I don't have to panic. And we are here as a committee to make sure that we just get everyone kind of on board and thinking about those things. Maybe order, one of the things that came up at Hardy AP is, think about how much money, cash you need. Because you will not have cell service during that period. We might be able to bring in Verizon, another tower to help support. But when you've got that many people on the cellular system here in town, our cell phones aren't going to work. Which means, guess what? Your credit card terminals aren't going to work. So they had to have alternative ways, or start encouraging people, and that's one of the things we'll do on the visitor page, and say, hey, you might want to bring extra cash with you. Just kind of letting you know. Because we don't know what kind of traffic we're going to have on our cell services, and we want to be sure that we can accommodate you. And so with things like that, as we started having the conversation, thought, gosh, I had no clue, didn't even think about that, but that could be a problem. It could be a problem they might not have enough cash to even have in the ATMs and in the banks, because banks can only carry so much surplus. And if all of a sudden someone decided they needed 5,000 ones, and that was like people wanted 5,000 ones, well, what are you going to do? And they didn't order them in time. So now you're going to be out of resources. So this really early conversation, we may not see all those, but I would rather be prepared and make sure that we had, all these systems in place and these checks and balances for people, so that we can give our visitors the best experience, because I promise you, we are going to get visitors who never would have thought to come to Sharp County, except for the fact that the eclipse was going to be over us.
Well, I hope we did it, and I'm not being skeptical, and I'm not.
No, I didn't mean, I just meant, I appreciate those comments, because it makes me think, okay, well, maybe I'm just one of those pie in the sky, I love, the enthusiasm.
Well, no, if this happened, it's.
Bend, Oregon did experience.
You got a record county to look back, that's what I was kind of getting.
See him come back, if it does, I told y'all.
Anybody else have a question, Miss Hazel? I appreciate you coming, Miss Hazel.
Thank you, Hazel.
We got resolution and ordinances. I've got
It's
two.
also on Quorum Court night that year, so we probably won't have Quorum Court that night.
Oh, okay.
I've got two ordinances. I've got two ordinances that I brought forth to you tonight, and I know they weren't in your packet. I want to explain just a little bit. Frank, the computer guy that does our computer work around here, he's married to Miss Tara over in the clerk's office, and I never put two and two together, so I take blame for it. The auditor brought it to our attention today, and so they wanted us writing an ordinance that y'all approved us using Frank to our computer repairs. Every time we need something, he's right there where other people won't come and help us. He's one of the only few only one that I know of we can call on. Does a good job. Today I had a transmission go out on one of the trucks, and I wanted to take it to Gail Weaver, and the auditor walked in about that time and told me about this situation. And Todd Price works for me. He was JP, that's his father-in-law. So before anybody says anything, I'm asking tonight that I could do business with Frank, the computer guy, and with Gail Weaver, because it's also hard to find somebody to do a transmission anymore. If you go up here to the dealership, I will spend $10,000 and wait 6 months to a year to get it done. It's a blessing when you
You're
call.
saying keep down conflict of interest.
I'm sorry.
Conflict of interest, that's
Yes,
what you're
sir.
concerned.
That is correct. So tonight I brought these two ordinances, and I put them on separate, or Miss Denise put them on separate. And I guess first of all, does anybody have any questions of what we want to do? Could I get somebody to volunteer to read one of them?
I'll read one of them. Do you read the whole thing, or? part of it, or what?
Miss Black, does he need to read the whole thing? Yes, sir.
Matter
I
which
don't
one?
have a number, so
Doesn't matter which one?
we'll just do
Okay.
the number.
I'll just do this one here with Weaver to start with. Ordinance number 2023 blank. Okay. Been enacted by the Quorum Court of Sharp County, State of Arkansas, and an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance allowing Sharp County to conduct business with Weaver's Auto Service. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Sharp County, Arkansas, that Article 1, affirmation, Arkansas Code annotated 14-14-1202 states that all Quorum Court members, county officers, and county employees refrain from benefiting economically, either directly or indirectly, from doing business with any vendor paid by the county, except when it is determined to be in the county's best interest. In such circumstances, subsection 2AI states that the Quorum Court may permit the county by ordinance to purchase goods or services directly or indirectly from Quorum Court members, county officers, or county employees. And Article 2, designation, it has been determined that it is in the county's best interest to permit the purchase of goods or services from Gail Weaver, who owns Weaver Auto Service and performs computer repair. Gail Weaver is the father-in-law of Todd Price, who is a Sharp County employee and a road employee, or the road department, but that's okay. Mr. Weaver's business is the only one in the area to service Sharp County transmissions. At one time, there was others, but as of now, he is one of the most reliable transmission garages. Article 3, appropriation. The Sharp County Quorum Court authorizes the county to transact business with Weaver's Auto Service effective immediately and in the manner prescribed by ACA 14-14-1202. Article 4, effective date. This ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its passage by the Quorum Court.
Make a motion.
I'll have to change the one word where it says performs computer repair. I guess I did change that when I have to put it performs transmission repair or auto repair. I'll have to change that wording in there.
Motion's been made by Justice Pickett. Could I get a second? Second by Justice Wilkes. Ms. Black, can we get a vote?
Barnes,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Peoria,
Yes.
Estes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Pickett.
Yeah.
Wilkes.
Yes.
Now, could I get somebody else to read the other ordinance, please? Justice Wilkes, would you care to read that one, sir?
I'll do.
Thank you.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of Sharp County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance allowing Sharp County to conduct business with Frank the Computer Guy. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Sharp County, Arkansas, Article 1, Information, Arkansas Code noted 14-14-1202 states that all Quorum Court members, county officers, and county employees refrain from benefiting economical, either directly or indirectly, from doing business with a vendor paid by the county, except when it's determined to be the county's best interest. In such circumstances, subsections 2AI states the Quorum Court may permit the county by ordinance to purchase goods of service directly or indirectly from the Quorum Court members, county officers, or county employees. And Article 2, designation. It has been determined that it is the county's best interest to permit the purchase of goods of service from Frank, how you pronounce that?
Boldness.
Boldness, who owns Frank the Computer Guy and performs computer repair. Frank Boldness is the spouse of Tara Boldness, who is a Sharp County employee in the clerk's office. Mr. Boldness is the only one in the area that is remote, responsible, priced, available almost every time he is needed. The other services in the area all lean more toward security systems and phones. Article 3, appropriation, the Sharp County Quorum Court authorizes the county to transact business with Frank Holdings effective immediately and in the manner prescribed by ACA 14-14-1202. Article 4, effective date, this ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its passage by the Quorum Court. I move we
Thank you. Motion made by Justice Wilkes and seconded by Gerald Hastings. You ready to call roll?
Barnes.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Peoria.
Yes.
Estes.
Yes.
Hasty.
Yeah.
Pickett.
Yeah.
Wilkes.
yes.
Two other things that I have real quick. We received an unpaved road grant from the state of Arkansas for $27,192. We're going to be doing some work to Big Creek Road, and it'll be on the ash flat side of Big Creek. Hopefully get it started pretty soon. We also received a courtroom security grant for $17,512.63 that me and Sheriff Russell went down to Little Rock and got last Friday, wasn't it? From the state Supreme Court. They put a grant out each year to help people with courtroom security. When I started in law enforcement 26 years ago, you didn't worry about courtroom security. Now it's something that we really have to pay a lot of attention to. And so we're going to be able to get some magnetic locks and some key card locks and some handcuffs and different things that we need for the courtroom. So I wanted to announce that tonight. Do we have any announcements from the public or from the court? Any comments or questions from the public? Mr. Peter?
Yes, the grant is, since we have court in Cherokee Village, is that something we can apply for too, or is this for the county?
I believe you can apply for it for the city too, because y'all have a courtroom there too. Each year they do that through the Supreme Court. Come by, Ms. Dees, will give you that address to look at. If there's nothing further, can I get somebody to? Yes, sir. All right, Jackie Pickett's made a motion, JP Pickett's made a motion that we adjourn. I call this, it's been second, we'll call the meeting closed. Thank y'all.